morning. It's great to have you all out here on a beautiful Saturday morning. Thank you for sharing your morning with us. I am Tara Menza, Co-Director of Action and Advocacy for the League of Women Voters, Boulder County. And coming up on my 4th year with the League. Just some housekeeping notes. Feel free to get up and get more coffee. The restrooms are located in the back on the right-hand side. And this event is also being recorded. I would like to take just a moment to thank Trent Hain for the use of this wonderful space this morning. Finding space for events is really hard, and we are perfect. So thank you, Trent. Trent is also the husband of our fabulous new operations coordinator, Stephanie. Yeah. So Stephanie, thank you. The League of Women Voters Boulder County was honored to collaborate with the Emergency Family Assistance Association and Sister Carmen on candidate forums during the election season. If anyone wasn't aware that we were accepting donations for them this morning, please consider donating to them online. We have a very packed schedule. We're going to discuss the Boulder County election. We want to inspire members about volunteer and leadership opportunities. And if you're not a member, we'd love to have you join because we like to celebrate membership milestones and accomplishments. So we're going to have a great community conversation about the election season of 2023. We're going to spotlight our fund development and different opportunities for leadership and volunteering with the League of Women Voters. We're going to talk about our issue teams, the highlights and projects that they're working on, and then again we have some longevity awards and membership milestones. So the mission and vision of the Boulder County League of Women Voters is we envision a democracy in which every person has the desire, the right, the knowledge, and the confidence to participate. The League of Women Voters works to empower voters and defend democracy. The purpose of the League of Women Voters is it's a nonpartisan political organization which encourages informed and active participation in government and influences public policy through education and advocacy. The League of Women Voters Boulder County enacts this purpose through voter service. We present unbiased, nonpartisan information about elections, the voting process, and issues. And we also organize some wonderful candidate forums. The League does not support or oppose any political party or candidate. We're also big with advocacy. While the League is nonpartisan, we advocate for or against specific government policies and legislative proposals based on our organizational positions and current program priorities.
My name is Holly Lungman. I'm Co-Director of Advocacy with Tara. And first up, we have voter services, a wrap up of our election season with Stacey Johnson.
I'm Stacey Johnson, and I have this role called Voter Service Director. It's way fancier than I'm a volunteer. And as far as for those not familiar with what voter service does as the League of Women Voters Boulder County, we have the operations of our online voters guide. We do the candidate forums. There's a team of folks that research ballot issues and get straightforward information on those as best as possible, as discussed, and then present those. And then there's voter outreach. And see, my fellow team members here today is Martine, who helped with the candidate forums. I think the other 3 folks are under hibernation. Joe Porter. It does candidate forums. Cindy Lindsay operates the online ballot or online voters guide, Vote for 1-1, and Judy Morris Dixon. So And this slide here is a rundown of what we were able to accomplish this past election cycle. There's probably a lot of information I'm missing there, but hopefully you'll get a sense of what all occurred. And from my perspective, we were able to maintain a lot of similar activities done in past coordinated election cycles, off-year election cycles. So I'm happy about that. And then coming into this election cycle for 2023, a question I had was, we were able to kind of go back to full-fledged in-person events, BC before COVID, and there was a question how much of an online presence we wanted to maintain, and how does Spanish interpretation weave into that. And so from my perspective, I was able to kind of see and experiment different options. Joe Porter collaborated with the city of Boulder and then the city of Washington staff to have those candidate forums at the council chambers there. And we were able to utilize the public access station viewing and then the broadcasting of those events through that aspect. And then how do I move the slides? I'll just go from the, okay. Okay, and then this slide is in our month of gratitude. I'm so grateful for all these folks that helped out in a big way. Some people, big lifts, small lifts, but they all made it happen. And there's probably several people I'm missing from this list. And I have to shout out to Peggy Leach. She's probably, from my perspective, got the Mother Lode Award. She moderated the Erie Forum. She researched ballot issues. She presented. She was at candidate forums, sorting out the questions from the audience. But again, a lot of other help that made it happen. As we move into 2024, my request is come see me, see how you can help. We have an open leadership slot, voter outreach leader, and then it tells like voter registration efforts. Puri Jensen held that role in the last couple years. Beautiful job doing that. So if you feel like you want to handle maybe some booth operations or think outside the box of other ways to be doing voter outreach, come see me. And then there's other ways to help. I know it's a big ask. Hey, take much of your time throughout the fall election season to do this, but if you want to be a one-task helper, or we did cover 2 naturalization ceremonies this past season. So if you want to just be the naturalization ceremony go-to person, hey, come on board. And then I have to say, like, Pat Ventero and Celeste Landry were 2 people that took the bull by the horns on the Erie proposed home rule charter and said, hey, those voters need to know what's in this big 40-page document. And so they took it upon themselves and organized fellow volunteers to make that event happen. Pat and Frank went to the Erie Library, checked out all their rooms. Hey, these 2 rooms will work, and kind of got all those logistics in place. So that's an example of, if you feel like you're seeing something that's being neglected on a voter educated realm, give us a shout or, come forward. And I'm trying to think of, I think we're in need of candidate forum moderators. So if you feel like you got the chops to run a candidate forum, see Joe and Martine, and they'll get you all trained and perhaps ready to go. And feel free to be an understudy if you're kind of reluctant. I don't know if I can do this whole big shebang here. Be an understudy. So, and please see me if you have any questions. And again, our goals is always to empower voters, and I'm personally hoping to kind of develop better relationships with our unheard and underserved populations. My personal mantra has been to be heard, to be counted, and to make sure others are heard and are counted. So, I think with that, I'm gonna pass it on. Oh, Martine?
Where is your name on this slide?
Thanks, Stacy. You guys were busy. Let's see. All right, next up, we have some information from fund development, and we have Marianne Wilner. Fill us in.
Got the stage. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see this great turnout today. People I haven't seen in a long time. So this is the fun part. Our continued success is powered by our volunteers, as you all know. And you are the ones who, I realize now that Stacy has spoken that some of my numbers are wrong, but you organized the candidate forums and the ballot issues and the events to educate and register new voters. And met with, I understand 100 new Americans at these different naturalization ceremonies. I'm not sure. I have to get my numbers right. But we're also propelled by our annual budget, which is about $58,000 a year. And it's volunteers who write the grants and solicit election sponsors, but it's really all of us, you, me, and the friends that we recruit to the League of Women Voters of Boulder County, who make the decision to support our organization with membership dues and donations. So, for example, we pay for our fabulous and talented operations director, Stephanie, wherever you are, there you are. We translate all our online and in-person materials into Spanish with the cost of a professional translator. We purchase an ESL interpreter for some of our events. We pay for our state and national convention attendees. I don't know that we developed it, but we distribute a new civics education curriculum to high schools. Don't know who's more familiar with that than I am. And we do pay membership dues to our partner organizations. And we also keep only 30% of the membership dues that you pay, because 70% of it goes to both the state league as well as the national league. They do valuable work with that. For example, the Colorado League is now part of 2 important lawsuits. One of them addresses redistricting of county commissioner regions in Well County, and I'm sorry that I don't know the details of the other one, but maybe somebody can speak to the other.
The other suit that the state level league is involved in is regarding voter intimidation, USEIP organization.
So that means the money that you contribute, we only get to keep 30%. Whoops. So there are ways that each of you can help ensure today and throughout the year that we meet this budget of $58,000. One is that we're trying to create a real culture of giving among our members. And I know that Ruth and Ann Bryan did a wonderful job of setting that up. But also your membership dues. But end of year donations are really important, and this is the time of year for that. For those of you who have a required minimum distribution that you have from your IRA or your pension fund, please consider giving it to the league. Grocery cards, you don't have to pay a penny to Safeway or to King Super that a certain percentage of your purchase every time comes to the league. And as Ann used to say, that's money we are leaving on the table, and we need that money. You can host a house party. If you invite friends and neighbors, we bring the speakers in the program. You can gift a membership to a friend. Recurring donations is an easy way to pay your membership dues or increase it by $5 or $10 a month. We need more volunteers as well. I think there are maybe 3 of us on a good day on this committee, and we are really desperate for more volunteers. The other way that we bring money in is through election sponsors. And since 2024 is going to be an incredible year for elections, we need names of businesses that you frequent on a regular basis. The way we got our almost $4,500 this year is by going to businesses that we frequent. I went to where my dog gets groomed. They were very happy to contribute. I went to where we buy the dog food. There are many, many places you can get where people know your face and you know them. So if you all mind to take a couple minutes or maybe 2 minutes, write down 2 businesses that you frequent regularly, and we will call you in June. Find out, we'll go with you to that business, but we need these names because I only go to so many businesses and each of you only go to so many, but I don't know where you go. And it's that relationship that you have that makes a difference. So I'm just asking for 2, and then we'll give you a call in June, because that's when we need to start the election sponsor recruitment.
So, do you want to say something about this sacred clients?
Oh, yeah, let's say, Cousin Susan Curtis has
Back
that.
at the membership.
Yeah, so you just get them at the membership table and,
Load it, you know, just take one and load it.
it's a membership card for the grocery card, so when you go to Safeway, this is only for Safeway, but you can also go to King Super and you load up a card in advance of your purchases, and we get, is it 5% of every, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but we get a percentage of every purchase that you make. So it doesn't come off of your dime. It's money that's coming from the business to us. We are registered with them.
And on King Supers, you don't have to have a card. You can just go into your account and choose an organization to support. And you don't have to do anything. It's automatically.
Yeah. Okay. So
These are active.
take it, if you don't mind, please take a couple minutes and fill this out so I can collect these at the end. And does anyone have any questions? Yes, go ahead, Elizabeth.
So not a question, but just in addition to that, if you're looking for someone or a gift to give someone who might want to support me, we also have Ashley Devon Jeffries for sale on the table out here. They're lovely little gifts,
Right, which evidently you made, you created them, right?
not the jacket.
Okay, you created the logo that's on.
He's right here.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you so much, and, yeah. And we will collect these as we walk out.
Thanks, Marianne. Okay, next up, we have Peggy Leach from Nominating Committee. She's serving as chair for the upcoming, you're already busy, right? It's ongoing, because we have positions to fill.
Yes.
Great, thanks, Peggy.
All right, thanks, everybody. And so we currently have some open positions, president for one, fund development chair. And, you know, you can see that the fund development team, even though they are small, they are mighty. And if somebody would just want to be in charge of that, you know, you already have a built-in team. Secretary, I think, just opened up. I think our secretary needed to resign lately. And then voter outreach coordinator, which Stacy mentioned, that's the booths and that kind of thing that we do out at different events. So, and at the naturalization ceremonies and those kinds of things. So, or you can always join a team. And we got, you know, voter service teams, issue teams, fund development, as we say, and membership team. We'll start, the nominating committee will start its work in earnest probably in January. And we'll also need to check on the board members and leaders whose terms are ending. We always elect a new board in May at the annual meeting. So we'll need to come up with a slate of candidates. And, so hopefully some of our board members will be continuing. And then we'll probably need to fill, another one or two positions too. So, I'll just say that I was on the board 2 different times, 6 years each time. And, after I'd been on the board about 2 years, I wrote a little article in the Voter that was titled "The Joys of Being on the Board." And I truly did find it very interesting. I was water service at the time, so I was always busy, August, September, October, just swamped. I was working full time. But the rest of the year I could kind of relax a little bit, and I just enjoyed watching everybody work together to put forward the work of the league. So not necessarily, it's like, let's just say fund development. If somebody wanted to hit that up and doesn't want to be on the board, we can be kind of flexible about some of this, about whether you're on the board or not. And we've also got at-large board positions where you don't have a specific portfolio, but you might work on a project or something. So anyway, there's just different ways of people getting involved in our leadership in the league. And I think it's very important, and we have a lot of volunteers, but we also need leaders. So thank you. Any questions first? Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Peggy. Many hands make lighter work. Okay, now on to some updates from our issue teams. It's been a busy year for some, others down the usual level, but some are very busy, so we'll catch up with a few of them. Let's see, Jeanette, yes, and so do you want to give an update on the climate change team?
It's really climate action. We're called the CAT team. And when we had first formed, a year and a half ago or so, we wanted to focus on, climate is tremendous. And we wanted to focus more on our local area and what is actually happening within the county or the municipalities. Because otherwise it just gets truly overwhelming, and most of the changes in dealing with a lot of climate issues are being dealt with either nationally or internationally. I'm simplifying it, but whatever. So what we've been focusing on is trying to get the county of Boulder to site a compost facility. This is a slog. But we are pushing forward, and the league is working with a group in Longmont, and the Sustainable Longmont group, and also with EcoCycle. And we've been in communication with the major commissioner, who is Ashley Stolzman, who is their coordinator. If you talk to the other 2 commissioners, they will just say, Ashley's going to tell us how to vote on this. So, but I've been in touch with Ashley Stolzman. She's come to a Zoom meeting with us. And so we're trying to get some work done there. During the legislative session, we follow any kinds of bills that might be coming up in the legislature that deal with any kind of climate action programs, reducing carbon, getting electric little one equipment removed, just setting better standards, that kind of thing. So we do that during the legislative session, which is normally, as you know, January to May. Forget about the special session. We just signed and sent a letter regarding CMEX's facility and the air quality control issues. That's sort of been ongoing issues up in the Lyons area. And as some of you may know, the Air Quality Control Commission has been under fire recently for not being stiff enough and in enforcing some of their air quality permits. particularly dealing with Suncor, but I do know that Adams and Denver counties are dealing more with Suncor, so I am not gonna step on toes and try to, that's those leagues areas. In January, we are planning to have a Xeriscape presentation. Now, a lot of you think that, oh yeah, you all know Xeriscaping, but there are some new things going on with Xeriscaping. I'm just, trying to, I'd like to do it in person. I've gotten in contact with the CSU extension. We just know, need to get a place that will allow, we don't know if we need a place that will accept soil and dirt, but we're working on that. But I also wanted them to talk about, doing some potting of vegetable plant, in container planting and that kind of thing. We think this would be helpful for a number of people around the county. We've also, over the last year, looked and followed a couple of films dealing with how to do carbon capture through regenerative agriculture, and I had done an article for the voter on that topic. I try to do a article or tips a month. I got waylaid last month, but you'll get tips this month that'll double dibble you. So we're gonna do that. Anyway, we do meet 4th Thursday, Saturdays of the month, usually on Zoom from about 10 to 11:30. And so let us know if you'd like to join us. We're doing odds and ends of little things. If you know of something that's coming up in your communities that you think that it's related to climate, recycling, the league loves trash, so you can always, something might be coming up. And the most recent report the last 2 days with CoPerb is that, Colorado is one of the worst recyclers in the country at only 16%. So that is an abysmal number. And so we really do need to start looking at some of those issues. I feel like I've been at this a long time with trash. And so it's just like all over again. But please, we'd love to have more people join, or if you feel you have a little tidbit you'd like to let us know. We'd be glad to get it on. Thanks.
Thanks, Jeanette. Be sure to change that slide to next year. Climate action. Education's up next. Linda Holtman.
I'm gonna have to vote this side. Okay, so I am and I guess we call it schools team. Education, it's fine, and schools are about education. I remember quite some time ago when we were doing program planning, the question was asked, should we have a schools team? And one of our members said, well, yes, of course, that's what the majority of our local taxes go for. So we should be keeping an eye on how they're spending it. So there's, a good reason if you needed one to have a schools team. We do follow school issues, the public schools in the league, this league's area, which is Boulder Valley and St. Vrain. We also follow what goes on in the legislature with education, and also the Colorado Department of Education as it applies to our school districts. We have kind of been on a pause for this fall. We met at the beginning of the school year and decided that there's so much election activity going on that we didn't want to take on any new projects right then. We wanted to give our members time to get involved in whatever election activities they wanted. So now we're ready to get rolling again, and of course, it's the holiday season, so it is likely gonna be January until we meet again. I'm hoping to get something set up and in the newsletter so that everybody will know about it, without having to do a lot of emailing and so on, to let people know. And we are more than happy to have anyone join us, and we would especially like to see people, the kids in school. Because most of us at this point that are the kind of regulars, our kids have graduated and we're not quite as close to the situation as, well, for me, for sure, as we all used to be. We do have a brand new school board. We have 4 new people on the school board. A majority have never been on the board before. That's Boulder Valley. So that will be interesting to follow them and get to know them. We have in the past invited them to some of our meetings. I've never seen a situation where there were 4 of them before, brand new to the board. Usually it's 1 or 2, but no incumbents ran this year. And there will be some issues we'll need to follow, but kept coming up at the forum, the candidates forum was declining enrollment in Boulder Valley and what to do about it. So that will be an issue to really keep an eye on. We may have some things to say about some ideas they come up with. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a quick question. We have some student members, high school student members who are part of our league. Would they be a good asset to your team?
Oh, sure. Anybody would be. We would be happy. I mean, they're really getting their hands dirty with the school, so to speak. Yes, that'd be wonderful. And people with kids and people without kids, and people with grandchildren in schools, and anybody who wants to join, we would be more than happy to have you. Yes.
Remember our stickers?
Oh, right, we have a sticker contest going on. This is through the high schools in Boulder Valley and St. Vrain to make up some, those little I voted stickers you get, where we've got a contest running for kids, high school students to design a new one or new ones. So, and that's just getting started. I mean, we're just starting to accept submissions to that. Anyone else? Yeah.
This isn't especially related to education, but I just wanted to remind everybody. Yeah, okay, that there's not gonna be a newsletter for January, so if people want stuff to go out within the next 2 months, they need to get it into December.
Thank you. Yes, and it's on my to-do list to get to email the current members that are the current active members and see what we can get going so that I can get it in. And we got till the 29th, right? Yes. Okay, so what is this? Today's the 17th, so 12 days, so I think we can get it together. Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you, Linda. All right, we're going to jump over gun safety and hear from the voting methods team, and I think Martine is going to pitch it for Celeste. I think there's 3 slides. Okay, it's time to get you substitute teaching. For voting methods, we have voting exercise presentations where we can learn about all the different voting methods as we had started to talk about today. We are inviting guest speakers at our team meetings. We analyze elections from all around the country, and we add articles to the voter. So for voting methods, recent highlights, we hosted the Erie Home Rule Charter Forum that was, I hope, very helpful to the people that attended. In September, we partnered with the Boulder City and Boulder County clerks to host the City of Boulder's election changes, where we discussed instant runoff voting, ranked choice voting. And that, I think, was helpful as well to the public. We went through basically the mechanics of how it worked, but not only that, we had a mock election, so the public could actually see the method live in action. In May, we had voting methods, Q&A caucus, and the LWVBC, the LWVCO annual meeting. And then in February, we had the program planning with the proportional representation. January through June, we went through an extensive editing and publishing process to make these really nice trifold pamphlets. If you've ever wondered why a party with 40% of the vote wins 0 seats in a legislative body, or why a candidate that wins that only has 35% of the vote, then maybe stop by our back table and look at these so you can learn. And then January through May, we engage in lobbying at the state capitol. Current projects include our annual letter to the Boulder City Council, where we are gently bullying, pressuring, advocating for proportional representation. We are also hosting this thing that just happened, the 2023 post-election discussion. We are engaged in discussions with the Secretary of State. We are also in the midst of conducting a primary election reform study to see, do our primary elections use the best voting method right now? How do we approach that? And then based on the findings, maybe change what the league stands for in regards to primary elections. We also partner with our state league alternative voting methods task force that meets, is that on the first Monday of the month? So somebody will correct me on that later, but it's very informative. And a lot of times they have presentations about what's going on in the rest of the state and the country. Oh, and I think that's it. Thank you.
Question?
Oh, yes.
Going back to your very first slide, I don't know a lot about what your team is doing, but the voting, whatever that term is, voting methods, the other slide back part. Voting exercise and presentations. So that means that your team goes out, and if Longmont is interested in a different way of conducting their elections, you would make a presentation in that community. That's what that means.
I'm not sure
Yes.
what it means, but yes, we would.
Yeah, we've done never meeting, but they've done presentations in Boulder, Lafayette, in Springfield. So, yeah.
All right, I just wanted to be able to talk slow.
Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Ruth, for the question. Anything else?
Speaking to the voting exercise presentations, yes, Celeste, I know recently, early November, I believe it was, at the Friends School, had been invited in, and she actually ran through a sample mayoral race with them for ranked choice. So she's probably the one to talk about these kind of things, is it? Okay, great, thank you for subbing in, Martine. And next up is Peggy again, minimum wage, kind of a new team that formed this year. Although, well, brought back.
Yeah.
Had been around before, and there was a effort underway again, so we put them back together.
Yeah, in about 2014, I think we came up with a local position on living wage, and basically said that we thought that people, when they're working, should be able to afford the basics of life without assistance. And we worked with the city of Boulder to get their municipal workers having a living wage, and also the city of Longmont. Then in 2019, there was legislation that allowed municipalities to have their own minimum wage, higher than what the state minimum wage is. And so Boulder County, not us specifically, but Boulder County started the process, and then the pandemic hit. So in 2022, they started again, and it's through the consortium of cities. So that's kind of the county is the umbrella, and then the cities are a part of that. And I think the consortium of cities also involves regional, like Broomfield and other counties. So they started in 2022. I first got involved in April of 2023. I started hearing about it, and I thought, oh, you know, we did all our work the other 2 times. We ought to do something this time. So I attended their forum, and they've got a lot of data-driven, facts, and they came up with a data-driven plan to come up with a minimum wage of $25 an hour by 2028. So I got the board to, I asked the board if they would approve us joining this coalition. And then I've testified in front of the Louisville City Council and in front of a couple of town halls with the county commissioners. So the main thing that's happened is that all of the cities decided to wait yet another year until at least 2025 to implement anything. But the Boulder County Commissioners went ahead and enacted a minimum wage for starting in 2024. So in another month, for the unincorporated parts of Boulder County. And so the current wage is $13.65. They're gonna raise it the maximum they can per law of 15% to $15.69 in 2024. They were hoping that the cities would go along at the time, and they didn't. So now, in 2025, they're only gonna raise it to $16.57. I mean, that's not only, but they're not having a big increase, because if the cities were to enact a minimum wage in 2025, they can only go 15% above what the next minimum wage is gonna be. So next year's minimum wage is gonna be $14.42. That's not on this chart, but the minimum wage for Colorado will be $14.42. So the cities could raise their wages to $16.57 for 2025. And then the county commissioners came up with a path to get to $25 an hour by 2030. So the coalition had hoped for 2028, but it'll be 2030. So just as a point of reference, there's the Center for Law and Policy that does a study every 3 years, I think, all 64 counties in Colorado, of what it actually costs different family sizes to live a sustainable life. And that happens to be about 2141 currently. So a current family in Boulder County needs to make 2141 to be able to sustain basic necessities. And we'll finally get to that in 2028 with this plan. But anyway, so our big task is going to be getting the cities to move. And so they're approving an economic study, which won't be completed until May. And so then maybe they'll start acting in June and July. And hopefully that won't be too late. For what happened this year was everybody said by the time we got to July, oh, that's not enough time to react for next year. So hopefully that won't be too late next year for all these municipalities to move. So the advantage of the league is that we have members in all these different communities that can be letting their city council members know that they're interested in this issue and that they'd like the city councils to approve these ordinances this year for 2025. All right, any questions? And I'll just say a real quick thing, the nominating committee, I forgot to mention our committee. So that is Martine Eleanor and Susan Curtis, our membership director, and Emma Pillar, who's not here today, and Laura Coates, who's not here today. And so if any of you know people who you think might be interested in helping out with leadership, contact one of those people. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Becky. And now we get to hear from not exactly an issue team, but a group that's been doing a lot of great work at the Energizing Young Voters. And we have Susan Mulling here today. Thanks.
Hi, how are you? So I'm new to the meeting here today. I'm new to Colorado, actually, just moved here in June. Very happy to be here. And my name is Susan Mulling, joined the League of Women Voters after meeting Carrie Jensen this past summer. Carrie's enthusiasm about the LWV and especially the Energizing Young Voters initiative really inspired me to join her efforts to improve voter education and participation of voters, especially 18 to 29 years of age. So this initiative, this youth initiative introduced by LWV member Pat Subley, I'm sure a lot of you know her. She's a member. This initiative is, of course, like the LWV itself, nonpartisan. It doesn't support any particular candidate, party, or political agenda. Its purpose is really to promote an informed electorate of men, women, and especially younger voters. And I'm sure you all know that the youth is the largest segment of non-voters. In fact, the turnout for the 2022 election of 18 to 29-year-olds was half the number of 65 to 74-year-old voters. The LWV's initiative to energize young voters began about 5 years ago and features an impressive PowerPoint program that was, that it was developed by Pat Subley and a board of 15 to 29-year-old youths. The presentation has been introduced into classrooms, clubs, and youth organizations by LWV representatives in 5 states, including Colorado. So the program first traveled with the Smithsonian exhibit, Voices of Democracy, in the summer of 2022. And that same year, where the program was implemented in New Jersey, there was a 17% increase in youth voting. So the program really works. As a trained league member, teachers, students themselves can conduct a presentation that matches their needs. And this program consists of, everything from a 15-minute presentation to an hour. And it's just really wonderful. I've really enjoyed learning a lot about it. And young voters were involved in the development of this initiative itself. And if you have a chance to check out their website, it's really inspiring. So the initiative's PowerPoint presentation program this past year, led by Carrie Jensen, did present to several groups with success in Colorado. So for example, over 200 students, Pan-Hellenic students from CU, I think we have some pictures here, resulted in social media volunteer Kristen Young, who joined the LWV, and she also is the recipient of the Young Member of the Year Award for 2023. And at the Peak to Peak Charter School, 50 students attended and 3 volunteers were recruited at that event. And also this year at the Front Range Community College, 7 students attended a presentation on Zoom, which resulted in an enthusiastic response. One attendee immediately joined the LWV and is volunteering to do social media in Fort Collins. So the next slide, let me see if I can go to, yeah, so this is part of the flyer that I'm happy to hand out. I'll talk about that later. But this is just an example of what's in the presentation. And it really addresses the reasons why young people don't want to vote, what's called the excuses, right? We've all heard a lot of these, and it's really powerful. And then also, oops, sorry, there was another flyer about the, I guess it's not there, that's okay. So there's a Ms. Magazine flyer,
Well, that was the first one.
is that the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that back here? Yeah, okay, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, so this flyer is, I just love this one, this one's really fun. And this is really appealing to young voters. So, yeah, we get past here, and we talked about, this is the Peak to Peak Academy presentation. And so basically, we are looking for volunteers for this year. If you think that you could volunteer 1 to 2 hours a week, remotely, that is from the comfort of your own home, in your pajamas. Starting next year, the work will start next year in late January. So if you're interested, come and see me. I'll give you the contact info, and we'll write your name down today, but we'll contact you in January to see if you're still interested and you are able to basically volunteer at the level that's comfortable for you. And what does that look like? What does the volunteering look like? Basically, it's doing administrative email communications to sort of arrange presentations at high schools, colleges, and student organizations in Boulder County. Also to provide connections, connect us with professors that you know, teachers that you know, students that maybe some of, your own children or people you know whose children are in social studies, government, or civics classes. Even those students can be involved, and it's really important because they're going to be future voters. So if you'd like to, like I said, we would love to have you come and join us. I really am excited about this initiative. I have 3 adult daughters. My youngest, the twins are 25. They're very active in voting. And I talked to one of my daughters this morning. She's like, yes, I'm gonna help be involved. So I think it's really important, and it's really fun to work with young people. So let me know, come and see me. My name is Susan. I have information to give you. Again, no commitment until January. Just think about it. Remember the PJs and your coffee at home. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions for Susan?
Yes.
Can you just tell us your phone number or contact or email address?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, I have, everything is on the back of the flyer here, but I think the main contact person is Kiri Johnson, but I can give you mine as well. So I'm Susan, 408-963-8328. And if I won't give you my email because it's horrible, no one can ever get it right. But on the flyer, there's an email here, which is Peri's. So definitely call me, text me, email Peri, come grab a flyer if you're remotely interested. That would be awesome. Thank you. Thanks.
And I think I go back. There's the official LWVBC.org email too that probably goes to Peary, the EYV@LWVBC.org. That's a short and easy one.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Great.
much better than mine.
Great, thank you. Well, we're on to the final part of the program, and that's celebrating a bunch of our league members. And to start, we have a whole bunch of lifetime members. Do we have any here today? Any lifetime members that want to stand up and be recognized, or? Pardon? Louisa Young.
Right here.
Next up, for 45 years, closing in on lifetime membership is Prue Larson. And we have a couple of 35-year anniversary members, Janice Hartley and Marjorie. Am I gonna say that right? And 25 years, we have Nancy Herzog and Doris Flax. I don't know anyone here from that.
I'm gonna be mailing a lot of certificates.
Yeah. And then down to 15 years strong, Vicki Greenberg and Catherine Young. And 10 years, we have Judith Beerbaum. Oh, okay, I don't know. Congratulations, and a whole slew of 5-year members. Congratulations on sticking with us for 5 years. We have anyone here want to stand and be recognized on this slide? Stacy, yeah. Molly Saunders couldn't be here, but she's now our assistant treasurer, serving on the board. Tara Scott, Virginia Gebhardt, and I'm gonna slaughter some names, so I'm not gonna read the whole slide. But we are very grateful for them being with us for 5 years. And congratulations to all of them. I know Susan has certificates that will get emailed out.
Recognize too, we have 3 brand new members just recently joined us. So our lifeblood is not only our longtime members, but our new members. So Cassandra, who stands, so we'd like to. She is sitting in the back row here, and both of these women joined right in and helped with various candidate forums. And then she just left, oh darn. So another new student now. So we need new members and we need to congratulate our.
Of course, Susan that just joined us here too, and obviously jumped right in, so.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We couldn't do all that we do without you, and I think it's pretty clear we do a lot. So thank you all. So once again, we are so grateful for Eva and Sister Carmen partnering with us on some of the community candidate forums. Even if you did make a donation today, in the spirit of the season, consider going online and donating to those fine organizations. And hopefully we will work with them more in the future. And thank you all so much for attending. Looks like there's a few pastries left on the platters back there. Grab one as you head out. It's all. And get your forms back to Marianne. She'll drag you down and keep you from going out the door. Thank you.